Bradley Cooper allegedly gained 40 pounds of muscle in 12 weeks while preparing for the movie American Sniper. To explain how that's even possible, we need to start at the beginning. After Bradley Cooper was cast for the role of the legendary Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle, but before his prep for the movie had started, Bradley sat down with the late Chris Kyle's father, and this is what he had to say.
You know you're half the size of my son, and there's no, and you don't sound a thing like him, so I don't know how you're gonna do it.
While Bradley Cooper and Chris Kyle are around the same height of 6'2", when prep for American Sniper started, Bradley Cooper was weighing in at 185 pounds, which was almost a full 50 pounds lighter than Chris Kyle was when he was in the service. So Bradley Cooper clearly had some work to do, and because of a busy shooting schedule, he only had 12 weeks to completely transform his body for the role. But he wasn't going at it alone, and had the guidance of celebrity trainer Jason Walsh, who would be fully in charge of taking Bradley from looking like an off-season underwear model to full-on bear mode. But even Bradley's trainer was having doubts about whether or not Bradley could pack on the amount of mass required to become Chris Kyle in only 12 weeks. Not only was Bradley dealing with back and shoulder injuries going into this prep, but he also hadn't lifted anything heavier than a kayak paddle in months. Luckily, Bradley's trainer had a long history of working with high-performance athletes, so he was able to draw on that wealth of experience while taking Bradley through his 12-week transformation. For the majority of Bradley's training, they were training 5 days a week, with 4 of those days being 2-a-days, meaning that they would train in the morning and then come back to the gym in the afternoon for another session. For their morning session, they'd focus on strength movements like the trap bar deadlift and the back squat, along with other corrective exercises like single leg Romanian deadlifts and Bulgarian split squats, to build Bradley a foundation solid enough that will allow him to hold on all the extra mass that he'd be packing onto his frame without injury. Then for their afternoon sessions, they do a higher volume classic bodybuilding workout, focused on packing on as much muscle mass onto Bradley's frame as possible. If you guys like these type of breakdowns and you want me to do one covering Henry Cavill's training for Man of Steel next, leave a like, subscribe, and comment Man of Steel down below. So why would they choose to follow this kind of 2-a-day workout split over a more traditional workout program where you only work out once on each of your training days? Well, it all comes down to one thing: fatigue management. As we push through a strenuous workout, our muscles become fatigued and their ability to generate force decreases. This is due to a variety of factors, including the depletion of adenosine triphosphate, which is the molecule that fuels our muscles. Then there's the accumulation of metabolic waste products like lactic acid and hydrogen ions, which can interfere with proper muscle function. And finally, there's also the central nervous system fatigue that comes with intense weight training. So what's the result of all this? A decrease in force production that limits our ability to perform at peak levels during a workout, leading to diminishing returns from the work you're putting in during the latter parts of your training sessions. But with a 2-a-day training split, you can split up all your training volume into 2 sessions throughout the day, so you can hit some of your volume in the morning and then you can refuel, rest, and reset before getting back into the gym feeling fresh, then hitting the weights again for maximum stimulation. Now, this type of 2-a-day workout split is typically reserved for highly advanced lifters who can handle all this extra training volume and intensity without overtraining. But since Bradley only had 12 weeks to transform himself, I understand why they wanted to make the most of that time by using a 2-a-day program. But it's certainly not something I'd recommend for beginners, because while the muscle building stimulus will be much higher, so will be the amount of fatigue that's being placed on your body, which can easily lead to overtraining. But simply training alone wouldn't have been sufficient to help Bradley Cooper bulk up enough for his role in American Sniper. To gain the 40 pounds required, he had to force down copious amounts of food every day. Bradley had to eat an astonishing 5,000 to 6,000 calories per day to achieve this kind of weight gain. Thankfully, he had a personal chef who prepared 5 high-calorie meals for him daily, along with supplements such as energy bars and workout drinks to boost his protein and carb intake. Without this kind of caloric intake and the ability to recover, he probably wouldn't have made it. That's what Bradley's trainer had to say about his diet in an interview with Men's Health. Now, if you want to pack on muscle and shed fat as quickly as possible, you need to check out the diet tracking app MacroFactor. With a verified food database, fast login workflows, and science-based recommendations tailored to your goals and preferences, MacroFactor is the best science-based app for tracking your macros, and thanks to its dynamic expenditure tracking and super interesting data insights, it'll always keep you on track and make sure that you're never plateauing. I've been using MacroFactor for months now, and I've been seeing some amazing results. So if you want to start seeing some amazing results, go ahead and download MacroFactor with the link in the description of this video, and then get your first 2 weeks free by using affiliate code DEMERCE. Now back to the video. Now clearly, all the 2-a-day workouts and force feeding paid off, as at his peak, Bradley could crank out 5 sets of 8 reps with more than 400 pounds on the trap bar rack pulls. And as he grew larger and stronger, Bradley Cooper didn't only start to look like Chris Kyle, but he actually started to feel like him as well. So that's insane. Against all odds, Bradley Cooper is able to gain 40 pounds of muscle in just 12 weeks, right? Actually, no. See, that's complete bull. No matter how much Bradley trained or how much he ate, there was always a 0% chance he was going to be able to gain 40 pounds of pure muscle in 12 weeks. That's just not possible. This is the classic Hollywood bullshit where the training results of some actor are wildly exaggerated to build up hype around a movie. To see how hilarious these claims are, just look at what happened after the movie. After gaining what Business Insider calls 40 pounds of muscle, Bradley wanted to shed the extra weight that he had put on for the movie, and he was actually able to lose 15 pounds of it in just 3 weeks. And then he lost the rest of it over time while shooting his next movie. You don't just casually lose 15 pounds of pure muscle in 3 weeks unless you're literally dying, fighting for your life while battling Ebola or something like that. So in reality, what really happened during this transformation is that Bradley Cooper essentially just overfed himself, trained a shit ton, and then probably gained about 5 pounds of muscle, 25 pounds of fat, and like 10 pounds of water weight / undigested food. But understandably, Bradley Cooper got fat to play a war hero doesn't make for such a great title to a Men's Health article. The moral of the story here is that there's no shortcut when it comes to building muscle. If you overfeed yourself and overtrain in an attempt to force your body to build more muscle than it can naturally in a 12-week span, you're just going to end up fat and broken. So if you're serious about building muscle and transforming yourself, don't listen to Men's Health. Go watch my video on Arnold Schwarzenegger's top muscle building tips and you'll learn everything that you need to know. I'll see you there.